Welcome to the Sheff United Way. My name is Hal. If you've been following the rumour mill, which is like a regular mill, only full of lies rather than wheat, wind or water, but some rumours hold more validity than others, and that all depends on the source. In this case, BBC Radio Sheffield's Adam Oxley, who is a reputable source and by all accounts a thoroughly good egg, and I enjoy listening to. So we'll give this one some airtime, and it's that Sheffield United apparently have a deal in place to sign Basel's right-footed midfielder Liam Millar. I'm going to say it like that. So who is, well, maybe not Liam Millar, that sounds fine, but it is Millar, as in M-I-L-L-A-R, not M-I-L-L-E-R. So let's try and get that correct. It's not like Blades fans to spell a surname incorrectly. Millar is 24 years old. His birthday is going to be on the 27th of September. He's a Canadian international, and as I mentioned, he will reportedly join the Blades, and that's going to be as soon as Canada's Copa America campaign is over. He's played as a left winger, left wing back, further forward. In fact, if we look at a breakdown, courtesy of Transfermarkt, of positions he's played across his whole career, it looks like this. So he's played majority left wing, then also left midfield, which I know is slightly different, maybe further back. He's played as a centre forward. He's played as a right winger. No, he is right-footed. I mentioned that. He's played as a right winger 10 times. He's played right midfield 9 times. He's even played as a second striker, and he's also played as a out-and-out left back. In total, he's played 283 games with 54 goals and 42 assists as of the 21st of June 2024. However, worth noting, these stats include youth games. So for senior games, he's played 198 with 25 goals. And when I was going through those positions he's played, you might think, well, where's left wing back in that? I think Transfermarkt kind of look at left midfield, maybe more like that, because they haven't actually listed that. But we know he played there because he played there for Preston, and we will get to his time at PNE when we go through a little bit more of his career. He came through the much heralded Liverpool Academy. He'd previously been in his native Canada with Brampton Youth, with North Mississauga, and Burlington, which is much easier to say. Then he came to England at the age of 13 in 2013 with Fulham. He was there for 3 years, but he actually said about his move to London, he said, "It took me a while to adjust to how English football is. It probably took me a good 2.5 years. And then it was Liverpool," by the way, that was the end of the quote when I said the word years, where he really kicked on with his development. He scored 4 minutes into his Liverpool under-18s career. He marked his debut in the under-18s Premier League with a hat-trick in a 4-0 win against Blackburn Rovers under-18s. That was back in August of 2016. And after 18 months, he was managed by Steven Gerrard in the under-18s, he would go again and receive his first call-up to the under-23 squad. That was in January 2018. He actually made his senior Liverpool debut. Yes, he did play for Liverpool on February the 4th, 2020. It was an FA Cup 4th round replay against Shrewsbury Town. That was his only appearance for the Reds. He would spend time on loan at Kilmarnock 2018 to 2020. That's, of course, in Scotland, with Killy playing 36 times, bagging twice in the Scottish Premiership. He liked scoring twice because then he went on loan to Charlton in 2021. That was 27 appearances and, again, 2 goals. Now, I've mentioned it already, he's currently under contract with the Swiss club Basel, where he's played 96 times, which is a fair few appearances for such a good side in Switzerland, and he scored 13. Last season he was on loan at Preston North End in the Championship, making 35 appearances, 5 goals and 5 assists. That's not bad, particularly, as I've already mentioned, when he was predominantly playing left wing back. That is according to things I've read and Preston fans I've spoken to. I'll be honest, I didn't watch him play for the whole season for Preston. I had enough on my plate watching Sheffield United, which was bad. Now for Canada, it's 27 caps and 1 goal. Again, at time of recording, that will only increase. So I asked on Twitter, or X if you hate yourself, what you make of this potential signing. Let's start with 𝗍𝐵𝗏, who said left-sided attacker, who was arguably Preston's best player. I've seen this before. And there's a photo of Callum Robinson. Maybe not that charitable. We'll give him a chance. 1889, Blade Man, great name, said, "A PNE fan I know said he was excellent." Good enough for me. Ollie's an actual Preston North End fan, and unlike me, will really know what he's talking about. And said, "I've said this on Twitter already. He's one of the best wingers in the champ. Quick, skillful, plays for the love of the game. A good crosser, fantastic finisher, works tirelessly for the team, great on his weaker foot. He's got everything. Bear in mind that he was playing for a bottom 6 XG team at left wing back as well. I will bear that in mind. Steve McGarry said, my mate's a big Preston fan. I don't know if that means, Steve, that he's really into watching Preston or he's large. He was exciting going forward, fast and dangerous. I like that. Now, reference the Copa America. Brett, 81 Gregory, said, watched him last night versus Argentina. Aye! Looks decent, good on the ball, fast and covered very well for Alphonso Davies when he bombed forward. I'm actually going to get back to that and how that left side could be impacted for Sheffield United. Preston fan Connor Dobson said, probably our best player last season. Gutted he's not being signed on a permanent. Thank you very much, everyone, for those quotes. Chris Wilder is known for his 5-3-2 formation. I mean, we're calling it that just to be basic and simple to move on. But if Millar is signed, would this signal a switch in formation, either from the off or in game? We saw Chris Wilder at times adopt more of a 4-3-3 system last season, but maybe he sees Liam as a number 10. Could it be finally a proper Mark Duffy replacement? As I mentioned, he has played there before. We'll see. But we have been linked with wingers in the much maligned rumour mill. So I'd hazard a guess that Chris is ready to go with a new formation. Like I said, maybe 4-3-3 next season and use traditional wide players or inverted wingers. He might stick strikers out wide. He might stick them out there as he did with Cameron Archer at times. Or he might go with something that works. And to be fair, Ben Brereton Diaz did work out there. Preston North End director Peter Ridsdale, yes, that Peter Ridsdale, spoke to the Lancashire Evening Post about the Canadian Liam Millar and said, Liam has been very honest with us, saying he loves the club and will come back tomorrow, but wants to play left wing. And we've said we love him and want him back tomorrow, but we want him to play left wing back. What we are not going to do is change the formation just to suit one particular player. So it's a dilemma and it's a challenge. It is one we will solve, but is probably the hardest position to fill. End quote. So sounds like Liam doesn't want to be Sheffield United's new left wing back. Max Lowe has left. Osborne is up in the air like he's been on a stag do in Spain. And we don't know what will happen with other players in that position. You know, your Robinsons, your Trustees, your LaRussies, who's definitely going back. On our Sheff United Way website, Jake Staniland wrote, the Canadian international is a very big attacking threat. He ranks in the 95th percentile for non-penalty XG and 99th percentile for total shots per 90. He also demonstrated his creativity levels across the campaign by ranking up in the 87th percentile for assists, 71st for key passes and 88th for shot creating actions. Remember, this is when playing in his unfavoured left wing-back position. We know that Millar's got energy, he's got pace to his game, he's shown this. We also, if we go back to Sheff United Way's website, do check it out, sheffunited.com. Jake has said that he ranks in the 99th percentile for progressive carries, 99th for carries into the penalty area, and has excellent abilities in the 1v1. He ranks in the 99th percentile for successful take-ons. He will drive the team forward. He will commit defenders and will often make the right decision in regards to setting up teammates or taking the strike on for himself. Here's something that's probably not worth talking about. So, 9 goal contributions, 7 goals and 2 assists in 35 matches. Who was that? That was Iliman Ndiaye in his debut championship season. 10 goal contributions, 5 goals and 5 assists in 35 matches for Millar in his debut championship season. I mean, I'm just saying words. Playing at left wing back probably shows he's been restricted, but the numbers he's put up in that Preston side, by the way, that's a Preston side that only had 41 XG all season. These numbers are impressive. If he were to be used as a natural winger in a much more attacking side, I think his numbers would improve. I believe his performances would only improve too, as he'd be playing where he wants to play. Also very good progressing the ball and puts that defensive shift in. So imagine, this is what I've said I'd get back to, imagine having a player like, I don't know, Harrison Burrows to overlap Millar. That would create an incredible attack down that left side. Announce promotion. Of course, none of these might happen, but to look at some left wing comparisons, let's focus on a few players who could be considered for transfers to Sheffield United. I want to start with one that I think we'd all like, but probably not going to happen, Ben Brereton-Diaz. It's also worth comparing with him because Ben Brereton-Diaz is likely to play in the same position. Celtic's Mikey Johnston. Some difficult names to pronounce now, but just bear with me. If we go to Bordeaux, there's a player called 𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂 got these wrong. I mean, these are Panchero's worst nightmares. And at Excelsior in the Eredivisie, there is 𝗂𝗲𝗵𝗏. Now, when we look at all of these compared, when it's defending, 𝗂𝗏 and Brereton Diaz have the most clearances at 0.8, whereas 𝗲𝗍 and, let's just call him, when I say 𝗍𝗿𝗶𝗵, let's just call him Davi. They've got the lowest. Driouech and Millar also have the most tackles, 1.4 per game, and Millar has the most interceptions at 0.7. Millar carries the ball the most. Johnson and Millar have the most carries into the final third, 3.5 per game, while Millar has the most passes into the penalty area, 2.33 per game, when compared with all these players. Ben Brereton Diaz ranks low in those scores. Again, we've got to remember he was playing for a pretty poor Sheffield United side. Johnson has the most shots created actions per game. That's 4.04. But, you're playing for a very good Celtic side, which is probably why his passing and Davies are the most successful passers, 84%. When it comes to duels, Brereton Diaz has a 40% plus duel success rate. Millar has 48%. That's incredible. On the ground, Millar tops the chart with 49% and also in the air with 44% success rate. However, Driouech and Johnston are the most successful tacklers with 59% success rate. And these are players that may be linked with Sheffield United in the future. Overall, Ben Brereton Diaz, we know, has good defensive contributions. He's a goal-scoring threat. However, he falls down in some areas, like progressing the ball. He's not as creative. But again, it did not help playing in a Sheffield United team. Driouech is creative, has a goal-scoring threat, is a player I really like, progresses the ball, provides good defensive contributions, but could be more accurate in passing. Millar has largely played at left wing back, as we've mentioned, but can play left wing and has still progressed the ball extremely well. He's contributed defensively and created a good amount of chances. So, I will leave this question for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Could this signal a formation change if signed? Could Wilder see him maybe as a number 10? Should we sign Liam Millar? And how do you actually say his surname? Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the internet again very soon.